If you're looking for an easy way to create a card with an amazing new fun fold, this video is for you. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I'll be sharing a die set from the Stamps of Life where the die does everything for you, cuts and scores, and creates this very unique step-up fun fold. They've also sent me their magnetic creative canvas, their rounded blending brushes, and some of their inks. So I'm going to use all of those with this die set to create a card. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to share a little bit about the creative canvas and the blending brushes and the inks, and then we'll make that fun fold step-up card. First, let's take a look at the Stamps of Life Magnetic Creative Canvas. This is a 9x11 workspace, comes with 2 magnetic rulers and 4 strong round magnets. Also wanted to share that the Stamps of Life inks are that fabulous newer dye ink that is on a foam pad. They also have a ink blending brush set. These are round blending brushes. They come with ergonomic handles. And I love that they come in 10 colors in the set. So you have both red and a pink, which is really important to me because once you blend with a red, it's very hard to clean it enough to blend with a pink. So you have red, pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, white, black, and brown. And you can see I'm just swiping against the ink pad with the bottom of the brush, and it's picking up tons of color, which is really nice. I do recommend, if you're going to do a lot of techniques like this, to get the refill for those ink pads because you may soak up a lot of ink just by using them a ton more rather than just stamping with them. Look at that beautiful soft blend though. That's what's really impressive with these brushes and combination of inks. Now I'm using a super smooth white cardstock as well. So if you don't get great results just using the inks and the brushes, you might want to consider trying the Hammermill cardstock, which is super smooth. You can use it for foiling as well as ink blending, stamping, the works. So here I'm just sharing how easy it is to blend these colors together. I have candy at the top, cantaloupe in the middle, and then I did want to share mint chip and blue jay at the very bottom. I know that green and orange don't really blend well together. They kind of make brown. So I'm being careful not to really cover up the line in between those two colors, but I wanted to share the inks that I would be working with today. And again, just show how easy they are to blend with these round blending brushes. Again, I am holding that cardstock in place with a couple of those magnetic rulers, and you can see it slides around a little bit on my work surface because I'm working on top of another glass mat. So I think it would do better on your desk just by itself. Also, this is a double-sided work surface. The one side has a grid, the other side has some typical card sizes, including A2, A7, A1, which is that smaller size than A2, as well as slimline and mini slimline. This is the Rounded Corners Step Up card die set. So you see it creates this really unique fold for your card, but it ends up fitting in an A2 envelope. As the other die set that I shared in a previous video, you start with a base that cuts and scores everything you need. The extra pieces are for decoration. So this piece decorates the large left side and small strip on the bottom. There's also grass, flowers, and there are some rectangles with rounded corners to decorate those side folds next to, those are like the step ups. There's also smaller flowers. There's also a hello sentiment and shadow, a sun with a shadow, a tree with several ways to cut the leaves, and more. So for the base, you'll need a 6-inch wide piece of cardstock. I cut an 8.5 by 11, a little bit larger than in half. So it's 6 on one edge and 11.5 on the other. And then I cut that out and you can see this is what you're left with. So you have the large piece on the left-hand side that simply folds down. Now for the steps, you're going to start with a peak fold first, and then you'll go valley, peak, just like you would a rosette, but this is just creating those steps on the side. And you can see once you fold it up, each step is a little bit higher than the last one, so that you can see all of the elements that you put on the different steps, which is really nice. Super simple to put together. Obviously, it does all the work for you. I have that extra piece of white cardstock, and I am blending it with the round blending brush and some Blue Jay ink. I'm going to create my own cardstock colors here using the inks and the blending brushes. That is a really great way to get more color out of your white cardstock, obviously. And if you want to use coordinating colors, usually these inks work really well together. So I am cutting out all the decorative pieces, and you need to cut out one of the smaller rectangles and 3 of the larger rectangles to cover all of the steps on the right hand side. The left hand side is that large decorative piece that I talked about. The other nice thing about ink blending, especially for a sky look, is that you have that little bit of white shining through, which makes it look like clouds. For the grass, I will ink blend with the round ink blending brush enough of the mint chip to cut out 2 strips of grass, because I want to layer them on top of each other. The bottom layer will get adhered to the card with some liquid adhesive, so it will stay flat to the card. And look at how cute that looks already. It's starting to come together so quickly. I put the magnets on top to make it stay in place while it was drying. And now I use some of that rainbow cardstock I created in the beginning to cut out 4 little rows of flowers. I cut out 2 branches and trunks of trees because I'm going to have one tree on the left and one tree on the right hand side. I'll glue that tree down flat to the card, and then I'm going to pop up the second layer of grass right on top. So I have a thin strip of foam tape on the base of that grass, and I'll place that right over the trunk of the tree so it looks like it's growing up out of that grassy background. I need a little bit more of the green color, but I wanted it different than the grass. So I layered Blue Jay on the bottom and mint chip on top, and I'm hoping that's going to create a slightly darker green, and it really does. So that is a way to stretch, if you only have a few colors of ink, to create extra colors, because these blend really well together. So you can see the difference between the left-hand side and the right-hand side, and that will create 2 different elements for the tree tops. I also ink blended some pink for the shadow of the hello, and then cut out the word out of white cardstock. I cut the sun out of yellow cardstock and the shadow out of white. Again, I use those magnets to hold everything in place while it's drying, which is really handy to have all these little pieces drying, and then I can move the magnets around to another spot while I work on one tree. I'm adding some little white flowers. That is a die that comes in this set that cuts the flowers out individually rather than as a border. And they make really nice little accents for the tree. So for this tree, since I glued the whole thing down to the back, I'm just placing that tree leaf area on top of the branches and the trunk. For this tree, I want to see those branches. They look really cute in the tree. So I'll cover some of those up with a little bit of white leaves, but white flowers. But other than that, you can see the branches and the trunk on that one. Now it's time to decorate the steps. So I have all of those little borders of flowers. I have the hello sentiment. I'll place the tree on the last step in the back there, and you can flatten this out while you're working on it so that you have more space. Just remember not to glue anything down to 2 steps. It can only be glued to 1 step. So the tree is only glued to that sky. It's not glued on the green. Otherwise, you won't be able to fold up the card. Again, placing those magnets in place so that I can keep everything steady while I'm gluing things down. There's also a little die that cuts either apples or lemons. I decided to go with lemons because this is a really soft color card, and I thought yellow lemons would be a nice accent for these light colored trees. And basically I just add a few drops of liquid glue and then use an embellishment tool to pick up those tiny lemons and place them where I want them on the tree. I did use a little bit of a white gel pen to add some accents, and I'll do that on the main parts of the tree as well, even on some of those flowers, and I did that on the lemons too. So you can see now I'm just going to fold it back to where I had it, which was the peak valley, and that creates the entire card. But the best part about this is you would think such a cool fold would not fit in an A2 envelope, but it does. So once you fold it up, you can just slide it into an A2 envelope. I decided to go with the top sliding in first because I had more stuff at the bottom. So as I'm going, I'm just placing the envelope over the things that I decided to pop up. If you don't pop things up, this is a lot easier, obviously. But look at that, it closes. And this is not even one of those sort of larger size A2 envelopes. This is a really tight one. So it fit perfectly. And then you pull it out and it stands up on its own right on your recipient's shelf. It's just such a happy little card and piece of decor at the same time. When I shared the last Stamps of Life video, a lot of you mentioned that you already know and love them, and that makes me so happy to hear and to be able to share more with you today. Don't forget to check out my Stamps of Life Flip It video here. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon.